Under the flickering fluorescent glare of the practice gym, the air felt thick slick with sweat and tension. Every sneaker scrape on the hardwood echoing louder than usual, while a locker room door slammed shut somewhere down the hall, muffling into silence that only amplified the whispers swirling backstage word is. Someone big is circling, and it's about to shake Lakers Nation down to its core. Feel that? That thudding hammer in your chest isn't just the heat of Summer League fading. It's the seismic tremor of a star's light flickering dangerously close to going out. Dalton Knecht'S, once lauded as a future cornerstone for the purple and gold, is running out of time fast. After the Mark Williams deal landed in February, you could almost hear the countdown in the executive meetings and the scouting reports. Now, with the Summer League tape rolling in beyond underwhelming Lakers insider Jovan Buha didn't just whisper doubts. He straight up detonated Knecht's status saying, Summer League has not helped Knecht's stock, and I don't think. At this point, he is valued as a first-round pick in terms of an asset valuation. Ouch. Trust me, that echoes through the halls and the locker rooms louder than a LeBron buzzer beater because this isn't just about a bad stretch. It's about a shifting tide that could cost Knecht his spot before the next season even starts. And here's the real twist. It isn't just the usual mumble gripes. Even J.J. Redick, who showed legit trust in Knecht last year, might be pulling away now, locking eyes on alternatives that shine brighter. But hold up, there's more. The Summer League showdown? Knecht's numbers? Dropped from last year's 21-point wow factor to a shaky 10 points, almost half his rebounds, and a shooting percentage that screamed met 27.9% field goals, 23.8% from deep, and a cringeworthy 33.3% on free throws. Meanwhile, Bronny James, the 55th pick of 2024, was slicing the floor, racking 14.3 points, and dishing assists, all while looking way more ready to climb the ranks. The comparison alone sends a shiver through the fan base, the bright young prospect outshining the so-called future star in a league designed to spotlight potential. You can almost hear JJ shaking his head through the quiet court buzz. Tim, better known as Cranjis McBasketball, didn't sugarcoat it either. Knecht just did not read the play well, pre-catch or post-catch, missing the kind of instincts you simply can't fake. He jacked up dumb, heavily contested shots, like there was no playmaking brain on board, Tim said, and with LeBron, Luka, and Reeves lighting the scoreboard, there's just no room for shooting that doesn't make sense. You gotta move the ball, find the open man, and be the glue holding the offense together, not forcing shots and turning the floor into a shooting gallery from hell. And with Jake LaRavia arriving on a $12 million two-year deal, the Lakers have a much cleaner, more dependable ingredient to fit the rotation puzzle, one who brings solid ball movement and floor spacing. Exactly what these superstars need to thrive. So, what happens to Dalton Knecht? The vibe from inside is uncertain. Front office ears are wide open, and rumors are flying that another trade could be just around the corner, especially after Pelinka's front office ran the clock out on Knecht's value back in February, trying to deal him for Mark Williams until the deal collapsed on a failed physical. Now, whispers from the Sporting News' Dean Simon dropped a bomb that should make every Lakers fan sit up. The Suns' Royce ONeal might be on their radar as a defensive, floor spacing upgrade. And here's the kicker: Knecht wouldn't move alone. He'd likely have to be packaged with an expiring contract like Maxi Kleber's hefty $11 million salary to make this deal fly. ONeal brings playoff grit, consistent three-point shooting at 40.6% on nearly 6 attempts per game, and a veteran's calm that might finally unlock something new for the team around LeBron and Luka. This trade could catapult the Lakers back in the title talk, or it could throw the chemistry roadmap into chaotic freefall. Imagine Pelinka pacing outside Luka's hotel, phone gripped tight, sweat dripping as he crunches numbers and weighs the risks. What if this trade is the secret sauce? Or what if it blows up in their faces and leaves the locker room fractured? The fans restless, and a once promising talent packing his bags for Phoenix? Lakers Nation, This is not your usual all-season fluff. Redick's trust waning is a red flag flashing neon. And Knecht's future is careening toward a cliffhanger none of us expected just months ago. If you're feeling this heat, if your pulse is racing with every word, slam that like, smash subscribe, and keep those alerts on because you won't want to blink for 1 second as this drama unfolds right before tip-off. And just when you think the story peak boom, a new bombshell is primed to drop. See you on the other side. Your heart stumping like it's dodging haymakers in the paint. Brace yourself, because we're about to detonate the next play. And Lakers Nation, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill off-season tinker. It's a slow-burning powder keg beneath the Staples Center floorboards, ready to blow with fallout that could rewrite the franchise's DNA. Picture this. Pelinka pacing with the fire of Showtime coursing through his veins. That legacy of Kobe and Shaq whispering in every twitch of his brow as he juggles the surgery that is this roster. Caught between a rock called LeBron's Twilight Mission and a hard place named Luka's hungry star power. The bench trembles with whispers and locker room camaraderie. Fragile, like shattered shards of last year's bubble banner fracturing under pressure. Knecht, once draped in promise, is slipping like sand through fingers slick from the sweat of expectations unmet, while the clock ticks mercilessly, louder than a Reeves dunk that reverberates through the rafters, but fails to drown out the growing chorus of doubt. If you think the heat's just from the sun-baked courts of Summer League, think again. The suffocating hum in the locker room reminds us that trust is evaporating faster than a D's rim protection once the Warriors or Nuggets step into the paint. Now imagine the Suns, that blazing desert furnace with their slick-footed Royce ONeal, circling like a vulture eyeing the carcass of lost potential in Dalton, ready to pounce and steal a narrative that just months ago Lakers fans believed was theirs to write. There's a cauldron bubbling behind those executive doors where strings of Maxi Kleber's expiring contract may be the dark ingredient Pelinka tosses into the stew, a desperate play to inject vet savvy and corner threes into a unit starved for both. But at what cost? Could this be the alchemical move that fuses LeBron's late career heroism with Luka's mercurial brilliance? Or are we pitching chemistry off a cliff just to chase a mirage? I can taste that electric tension rippling through purple and gold. Veins, the kind of raw nerve you felt when Shaq roared those dominant seasons and Kobe carved out constellations of legends. Yet this is a different beast. This is a roster coiled like a slinky about to snap under the weight of its own unmet expectations. A team teetering between playoff relevance and a rebirth so necessary it almost burns. But hold up, there's one clause in that trade nobody foresaw, something simmering beneath the surface. Whispers of a no-trade clause buried deep in one contract that could tilt the scales into chaos, leaving Pelinka scrambling to reboot a front office under siege by a fan base that demands nothing less than redemption. Now imagine how Denver, hungry and methodical, will dissect this fracture. How Phoenix's swagger grows bolder with every press conference breeze. And don't even get me started on LA's perennial predators, the Clippers and Warriors circling like wolves smelling blood in the water, ready to feast on our turmoil. The sheer suspense gnaws at you. What happens when the scoreboard lights up and Luka's brilliance meets ONeal's cold playoff grit? Is this the maestro combo that finally unlocks the elusive title cipher? Or the final domino fracturing a locker room whose cracks are deep enough to swallow whole a Stafford contract and a fan's hope? You heard J.J. Redick's resignation. Felt Crangus McBasketball's brutal analysis land like a punch. These voices echo through the corridors. Like ghosts of basketball past warning of a fall from grace, no highlight reel can obscure. And bro, when Bronny James outshines Knecht on the summer hardwood with raw, Warrior-ready poise, the kid the Lakers took at the tail end of the draft, that's not just numbers on a stat sheet. That's a seismic jolt to the heart of an organization wrestling with identity. It's the hunger of the future staring down the fading shine of a star who will soon either evolve or evaporate. Can you hear the crowd's restless murmur rising under the bright glow of the Jumbotron? Can you feel the frantic pulse of Lakers fans worldwide gripping their phones, necks taut, burning through subscription hours just to decode every whisper, every leak, every cryptic tweet of hope or despair. This is not a game of patience. It's war, brutal and raw, a confessional of a franchise caught between glory and ruin, fraught with the ghosts of past dynasties and the reckless ambition of a rebuild that can't afford to fail. Now imagine, just for a second, that the trade explodes, but Pelinka's gamble backfires disastrously locker room chemistry, fracturing like a windshield hit with a hammer. LeBron's leadership tested beyond endurance, and Ad's iron will cracking under. The weight of expectation and turnover. The fan base fractures into factions, the media vultures salivating over every misstep, each rumor spinning out of control until what we thought was a saga of rebirth turns into a nightmare of lost potential. But flip that script. What if? Against all odds, the Lakers pull a historic pivot reminiscent of their Showtime days. That perfect synthesis of old-school grit and modern innovation, igniting a playoff run so electric it sparks new legends and re-traumatizes Wolves and Warriors fans alike. There's a storm brewing that no one's fully ready for, and with every tick of the clock, every front office call, the stakes tighten like a noose strangling patience. But here's the scariest part. There's still a wild card lurking in the shadows, a whispered name from the fringes of the NBA grapevine that could crash this delicate ecosystem. A player whose inclusion or exclusion could be the difference between renaissance and ruin. Ask yourself this: what cracks are bleeding under the surface that even Pelinka won't admit on camera? What loyalties inside that locker room are about to snap? And when the buzzer screams next season, will we look back and see this moment as the ignition of greatness, or the beginning of a fall so steep it shatters a decade of dreams? As a Laker till I draw my last breath, here's the storm I swear is coming. Now you tell me, what's tearing at your gut? Because trust me, this saga has only just ignited.